Were you somebody who was fortunate enough and clear enough that you were able to catch this 10,000% gain on this particular coin? If you did, congratulations to you. I didn't catch it. However, one of the things that I do immediately as soon as I miss an opportunity and seeing something, I know the patterns tend to repeat themselves. So I go back and look at the chart and go, how could I have caught some of this? Could I have benefited from this? And so the next time when something like that happens, I can catch it early on. Now, there's a couple of things. First of all, this is not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. It is for entertainment purposes only. And I want to make sure that you are clear that you are responsible for your own investments. So connect with your financial advisor, whoever it is that you do your investment with, and then make your decisions in an informed and responsible way. So that being said, our intent is to be able to learn from this, share, and be able to see what can we learn from this for future projects, or possibly if there is any opportunity in that particular project. I don't know a whole lot about BTT USD. I'm looking at it from my technical analysis only. And if you do fundamental analysis and you like the project, then that adds to you possibly being able to do well in it, because you understand the project and you gain from that, and news and all that stuff then becomes a factor that can help. So from a perspective of technical analysis, when we have a coin that is so young, like this one right here, it's only been around, at least on this exchange, a KuCoin, from August of 2019. And obviously it had ups and downs, and even though these look little, they are pretty significant. Like from, let's say you happen to have got caught here and you drop down to there, that's a 90% drop of that value. So you'd have to have some pretty clear plan as to how you're going to do this and why you're holding it, and believe in the project if it is something that you're willing to hold for roughly, 392 days for you to get benefited from that to that. That's 392 days. Now, with somebody catching it all the way down here and going all the way up there, some people do, but very few, because a lot of people would be happy with something like this with a 1,500% return, or possibly a 3,000% return. Or if they caught this, we come at 3,300% return. So, and even this one right here, you got 8,000%. Who wouldn't want to get out of 8,000%, right? To try to catch this, now we're getting into the greedy factor, and a lot of people get caught here, unfortunately, or they can't liquidate a position, can't get out of it, and they still get stuck with some of it. They still obviously made some really good gains. So how can we benefit from a past experience and be able to catch some of these? Now, here's one quick tip that I'm going to share with you that comes in very handy. When you see a market that is ranging for a long period of time, for example, this right here, and I'm going to see it ranging here. I'm going to do that ranging because it stayed within that high and that low for a good amount of the time. As a matter of fact, you can even argue that it stayed within that range for that period of time. That was sort of an anomaly of when that was. Now, the fact that this stayed in it for as long as it did, that is usually people accumulating, institutions coming in. They're trying to stay quiet so that you don't make a lot of noise coming in to be able to pick that up. And the longer that this stands, then the more likely this would end up making a big jump, which in this case it did. So the question becomes, when does it make the jump, and how big is it going to make that jump? Well, a tool that's really helpful is a fib. And if you don't know how to use it, we'd be happy to recommend that you learn how to use that part of it, and you benefit from that. I'm going to lock that in place. And if you're not sure what tool I'm using something that's called TradingView. And TradingView, I will put the link below this so that you can go ahead and use it if you want to. They have a free version, paid version, it's up to you. Paid version obviously offers a lot more stuff. So from here, if you go that was that high and that was that low, and you start measuring from there, and how these are called fib extensions, and you think this is going to fly to the moon, some got really, really high, what would be realistic values? Well, these values up in here, all these values generally tend to be pretty good points where something tends to happen, meaning stopping, taking a little break. If you notice right between doubling up and this one 1.618, it kind of stayed in there for 2 weeks, right? So this is 1 week when it hit it, and this is the second week when it went up and down, and then it was that third week when it took off. And when it took off on that, it blew right past this, what we consider a super cycle, and that super cycle came all the way up into this region. And look at this. Had I, just from knowing that information, if I thought that it was going to be a super cycle, I could have potentially set my targets anywhere in this region or that region, and that still would have been good. Okay. The other thing I could have done is, as time went by and I saw the next jump, then I can move that up and I can get a better idea of what that next one is, and anywhere in here would have potentially been a good exit time as well. It didn't quite get as high as the other one here, right? So those are pretty good, pretty quick ways to be able to benefit from that. Another way is once this thing has started to make its jump, we're taking a look at other tools. For example, a simple moving average. Okay, this is simple moving average, where if we notice on the weekly, these prices, once it got above that 20 moving average and it stayed above it, right here, right here, right here, this is a pretty good idea, a pretty good chance that this might push up. And if I had happened to have taken action there, let's say even that third one, because I'm waiting, I'll triple check, make sure that it stays there within those 3 weeks. This is a very powerful candle. It's called the doji candle. And that, and caught even part of this, that's 1,000% right there. If I caught just this one right here, that's 456%. That's 4x the money, that's 10x the money, and so on and so forth. But once you're in these levels, as long as this thing continues to stay on nice and tight, nice and high, then I'm not worried about it. Now, once you get some big candles like these, and especially when you set one like this one, that could be a sign that there may be trouble. So I probably would have been looking to get out somewhere in there, even if I was holding. Okay, so that is just sort of a sense from the tools that you can see here. Again, we've covered a fib, we've covered moving average. There's a lot of things in here that are very useful and can give you a pretty good idea of where you're at. There's another one that's called, let's see, there's another one that's called, let's see, we'll go with the Ichimoku cloud. And the Ichimoku cloud, see if it was helpful in any way, shape, or form on this one. Not a ton of help. Up to, well, maybe here, this is the only section that might have been helpful. Once you got above these clouds, then it's saying, hey, there's a pretty good chance that we are going to be up here and we're going to be staying in the bull run. So this is technically still not a bear run according to the Ichimoku, but that's getting way above and beyond what we intended in this particular video. We wanted to make sure that you had the resources to be able to go, okay, well, how might it benefit from a cycle like this? So if you study past cycles, those can be very handy. And if you learn to use the tools, they can be even more helpful in being able to kind of get a sense of where things might go, especially in young projects that can jump and are very volatile like this one. So I would go back and encourage you to say, hey, you know what? Grab a tool that works for you and start studying that piece of it and seeing previous cycles and benefit from that. All right, that being said, if you want to catch more of these videos and potential things that we're seeing in the market just for entertainment purposes, then feel free to subscribe, comment, click that like button, and let us know how you liked it. All right, have an awesome day, and may you benefit from all these knowledge and also in your trades. Have an awesome day.